Good morning, everyone. This is Steve from Fredericksburg Farms. We had a meeting this morning with all of our employees because everybody's a little scared and a little bit uncertain about what the future may bring. And I was reflecting when I was a young child in East Texas, we'd sit on the porch with my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, and all of us would sit around. The kids would play in the yard, and the parents and grandparents would pinch peas, black-eyed peas, cream peas. We'd put it all up, and it was such a warm and wonderful time. And as I thought about that, I'm sure there was a lot that went on then that I didn't know about. I didn't know to be afraid, and I wasn't sure what was coming because I didn't care. Well, I do care now. We're taking this picture out in front of our garden, sort of like a victory garden. We're going to call it a victory garden anyway, even though it's full of weeds right now. But it's allowing us to be a little independent of everything that's gone on around us. What I thought I would share with you is something that I've learned through 67 years that might be considered a healthy perspective. It helps us learn about a new normal, and that's really what we're talking about. Most of you remember when Katrina hit New Orleans many years ago. I wasn't there, I didn't experience it, but I could only imagine how incredibly devastating that was and how afraid the people had to be. I can't even conceive of how you would go into a town that was leveled, where the businesses were leveled, the homes were leveled, the lives were leveled. And yet, New Orleans was able to come back and rebuild, and the businesses rebuilt, and the homes rebuilt, and people went back to work. Now that just hit one small portion of our country, but I promise you, the people that I know from New Orleans have experienced a new normal. Every time a storm stirs up in the Gulf, they cannot help but think about Katrina, a new normal. Think about, and most of us remember 9/11 when the Twin Towers went down, and how different our world became after that. The lines at the airports, the troubles that we experience as we worry about terrorists. I remember even when we were afraid to go to our mailbox because we were worried that anthrax might be on envelopes. That was a new normal. We didn't know how to act about that. Our son-in-law got blown up in Iraq, as did so many of our young people. They came back, they were missing arms and legs, and crazy things went on in their brain. That's a new normal, yet we still dealt with it. Probably the most relevant thing that we can think about is when the Spanish flu hit the United States, started in the United States in 1918. First round wasn't as devastating as perhaps it could have been, but by the end of the second or third round, over 650,000 people had died. And relative to the population that they had then and we have now, that was significant. That was a new normal. People didn't know what to do. They socially distanced. They were scared. They created a different way to live. And it was years before they got back to not having a scar that scared the heck out of them. It was a new normal. And you know what came right after the new normal? The 1920s. Perhaps you've heard of it. It was called the Roaring Twenties, one of the most prosperous periods that we've ever experienced in our history. That's exactly what can happen here. I don't know if that's today or tomorrow or a month from now or 6 years from now, but it will happen. That's the perspective that we gain from age. 3 weeks ago, before all of this started, our economy was blessed with the lowest unemployment that we've ever had in our history. It was an incredibly prosperous time. The stock market was booming. It was at an all-time high. Wages were beginning to rise because we couldn't find enough people to work for us. It was incredible. We were at the crest of a wave. And in 3 short weeks, we've got to describe what a new normal is. I don't know exactly where it will be, but I know that the main thing we have to have is hope. And as many of you have heard, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because we will work through this. The companies of America, I'm confident, will have ventilators built and masks built. A vaccine will be found. We will end up getting through this, and cures will be found. But we still have to live day to day, treat each other with love and with respect, and how we can look to be in our new normal. Thank you very much, those of you who have enjoyed Fredericksburg Farms. We hope that we can help you. We're getting ready to introduce a new line of hand sanitizers. We've repurposed our facility to try to accommodate the needs that the public has right now, and we'll be coming to market very soon with this. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States.